Hey guys, welcome to another little short workout. Today I'm combining core and possibly glutes for sure, and maybe some legs. We'll see how things go. As always, we are going to start with a little bit of twisting and stretching on our mats, move into a core segment, and then move into glute, a booty blaster. If you've done any classes with me before, you kind of have a sense of what that looks like. And I thought maybe it would be fun to throw in some legs at the very end, just some squats, some lunges. So for equipment, I've got my mat. I am adding a very light dumbbell to my core. I'll show you what those are all about, and then I'll go over all the movements. What's gonna be a little different about this workout, especially when we get to the core and we get to the glute work, we're not gonna take any breaks. So typically I'll do 20 seconds of work on, then take a 10-second break, then go back and forth and back and forth. Not today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do counts of 10, we're gonna do our movement, we're gonna do some windshield wipers, etc. for core. And once we finish that first set, we're gonna go right into the next set. So here's what we've got going. For our first group of core, and I'll go over this again when we get to it, bent knee windshield wipers, I'll give you some demos of those, modified sit-ups, Russian seated twists side to side, the weight's good for those. And then we did these in the last video I did. I'm calling them fixed firm sit-ups. They're kind of modified. I'll show you what those are as well. As far as booty blast, we're gonna do some kickbacks, some donkey kicks, some side extensions, and some crossovers. And again, when we get to that section, I will go over all of that with you. But before we get to all that fun stuff, let's get a nice little movement in our body. We're gonna start on our mats, on our backs, looking on up. So gather your equipment. Again, I've got a little dumbbell here that I'm going to be using, but if you don't have a dumbbell to hand, maybe, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe a big can of vegetables or juice or maybe a wine bottle. If you have any wine left in the bottle, it'd be better to use it with the wine. It gives you more weight. Anyway, we're going to grab our equipment. Let's get on our mats, on our backs. So let's bend our knees to start with. Keep your feet about hip distance apart, about the width of 2 fists. You guys know that. I've got a little shoulder that's a little still wonky from my surgery, so I'm going to kind of hold off on that. But if you want, you can go arms all the way out to the side for support. And I want you to bring your heels sort of in line with our bridge alignment. So that means that my middle fingers are just touching the backs of my heels. My arms off to the side. I'm looking up. My knees are staggered. And have those knees fall gently to the right. And keep them staggered and just let that twist start to stretch that side body. And you're going to look over your left shoulder. So kind of just hold it in place. I like to warm up really slowly. I've already taken the dogs on about a 4-mile walk this morning, so I've been moving around. But this is going to get a little more specific. So I'm just kind of holding this twist, letting those muscles loosen up. Good. Let's take those knees back to neutral. Again, make sure they're staying in that staggered hip distance apart. Knees are falling to the left this time. Oh, and you're looking to the right. And you're able to tell between the different sides of your body what is a little stiffer, what's not as flexible. Maybe you're pretty well balanced, which is awesome. But most of us aren't, so we've got a side that we favor. And it's kind of surprising sometimes which side that is. I'm right-handed, so I'm right side dominant. When I run, I have my right foot going forward first. Sometimes my right side is not as limber because I'm probably compensating somewhere in the way I walk and the way I stand. My alignment's a little bit off. And that's pretty much most of us. All right, let's bring those knees back up to neutral. Now bring your knees together. Realign that spine. Keep your knees together. And we're going to have those knees fall to the right, keeping those knees stacked one on top of the other, and again, looking over your left shoulder. Getting into a nice, deep supine twist. Just kind of let that twist lengthen, let gravity help you. I mean those knees falling to the side. A great option here is if it's uncomfortable and your knees are not hitting the floor, take a block or a pillow or a towel, roll it up, put it under those knees. Now let's bring those knees back to neutral. Again, we're keeping them together. And we're going to have them fall to the left. Again, keeping those knees stacked on top of the other, looking to the right. And wondering, how did this floor get so dirty? Oh my gosh. And we're just going to hold it, let the twist unravel. Of course, you'll notice we're not employing any specific yogic breathing, because I'm really focusing on this just being more sort of a stretch and a twist. Not so much yoga. These are yoga postures, as you guys mostly know. Good. Bring those knees back to neutral. Now, realign that spine. Let's go ahead and hug those knees into our chest. Oh, always a good idea. Roll a little side to side. Loosen that lower back. Maybe do round little circles with those knees. Remember, if you go in one direction, always reverse it up and go the other way. We like to try to do as balanced a practice as we can, even though we are not physically balanced. All right, drop those feet flat. Arms out to the side. Keep your gaze looking up at the ceiling, at the sky, depending on where you are. Now, again, we're going to have those knees stay stacked, falling to the right. Keep the gaze looking up towards the sky. And then bring those knees, draw them up to that right elbow. Okay, to a deeper revolved twist. Those of you who like to do crow posture, Bakasana, this is a great little warm-up for crow. That's how I found this twist, doing some research for crow. But I found it in some of my gentle classes. Beautiful. Slowly unravel. Let's go ahead one more time. Draw those knees up into your chest. Give yourself a tight squeeze. Oh, roll side to side. Loosen that lower back. Drop those feet flat, arms up to the side. Keep that gaze up, knees together. Knees are going to fall to the left. And once they get into a nice twist, draw those knees up towards that left elbow. And just feeling how deep this twist is getting. Beautiful. Slowly unravel. Line that spine, draw those knees back in. One more time, little side to side. Good. Let's come to stillness and let's roll along our spine. Become seated. I want to do a seated twist. I always have to do this with you guys because it is a tricky one. Legs extended all the way out as tall as you can be. Take that right knee, you're going to bend it. You take that right foot, cross it over to your left side. If you want, you can take this left foot and kick it back behind you up towards that hip. It's not required. If you feel like you get a deeper stretch, especially in this left quad, that's a nice thing to do. I have to shift off to the side to do it. My right arm is going behind me as a second spine for support, keeping my hand as close to my butt as possible. Left elbow crosses the outside of that right knee. And what I'm doing is I'm lifting up that chest and I'm levering that elbow against the knee for the twist. And then I'm looking off to the side, maybe looking behind me. And where you gaze is just dependent on the flexibility of your neck. But the important part of this twist is in your torso, that thoracic spine, the midsection of your back. All those T vertebrae. Good. Slowly unravel. Take that right foot, uncross it, send that left all the way down. Now send the right all the way down. Take the left knee, you're going to bend it, cross it over to the right. And again, if you kick that forward foot back, do it again. This time my left arm is behind me as that second spine. Right arm crosses outside of that left knee, using the elbow against the knee for leverage. Nice and tall. That's what that hand behind is helping you do. Just keep that chest tall, and then twist and lever, looking off to this. In an earthquake, this would kill me if I was sitting here. It's about 300 pounds of cold, rolled steel. I like to live dangerously here in the desert. Good, that's a nice, good twist. Unravel. Now, unravel those legs and send them out in front of you nice and long. Let's do a little seated forward fold. Okay, so some of you have taken some of my yoga classes in the past. There's this whole wonderful, I don't know really what to call it, yogic saying. Anyway, one of the great scribes of yoga, Patanjali, who was referenced by Iyengar, who's very famous in the yoga community. In fact, he just died a handful of years ago. He lived in Encinitas, which is on the coast of Southern California, 104 years old. He said there are two perfect times to do yoga, early in the day or late in the day. And there's different reasons for that. Early in the day, our mind is still, our body is stiff. So mind being still is a good thing, our body being stiff, not so much. We're going to talk about in a second. The end of the day is the reverse. Our body is a little bit more limber because we've been moving around all day, but our mind is very jittery. We've had all kinds of thoughts flowing through. We call it the magpie mind, monkey mind. So what we try to do through breath is still and quiet the mind. Okay, so that's what yoga is. In the morning, when you start to stretch, the reason you're not getting as deep in stretches, and the one reason that yoga is done in a warm environment to help facilitate muscles opening up, becoming a little bit more limber, is that during the night when you sleep, the discs between your vertebrae, thank you Gus, my humble yoga assistant, actually plump up. So in the morning, there's not as much room between your vertebrae because you've got very plumped up discs. And as the day wears on, those discs actually start to deflate. You get a little bit more room. So you understand the difference between trying to stretch early in the morning, you're not going to get as deep. That's why sometimes even rolling out of bed is a little bit of an event. You have to kind of go slowly because you're not that limber, you're not that flexible yet. So I always try to do stretching after I've done something. So I've walked the dogs, maybe I've done a little gardening, maybe I've just gone to the store, I've been walking around a little bit. You guys remember going to the store is all about, right? We'll have a history lesson on that later. In any event, what I'm going to do now is just a seated forward fold. And I've got a wonky shoulder going on for a bit, so I'm not going to be pulling. What I'm going to try to do is use the weight of my torso and gravity when I come through to help me get into this forward fold. Ideally, if I'm really limber and feeling stretched out and my hamstrings are really limber, my forehead actually comes to touch my knee. Probably not today, but I'm going to kind of lift up a little bit, tilt myself forward, nice tall chest, hands behind me, and just start to hinge forward. Now, when I hinge forward, I'm not hinging here from my rib cage and rounding my back to start with. I'm hinging deep into my hips. So up and hinge out, extend those arms, maybe go ahead and tuck my chin. So I'm going to hold this forward fold for a little bit. We'll do this again at the end of our workout or little practice today, just to see how much more room we've gotten. And again, just hold it. If it hurts, pull the stretch back a little bit. Chances are you've got a little bit too aggressive to begin with, so just pull it back, and then just incrementally, as you feel it, maybe come a little deeper into the seated forward fold. Now, for a lot of us, it's much easier to sit on a block. If that's your preference, that's perfectly fine. You'll be up taller, your legs will be coming out at an angle, but again, we're stretching our hamstrings out here. So it doesn't matter if you're at that angle because that works for you. So what you want to do is make sure that you're doing things that are accessible for you and getting these stretches in. And again, I'm not pulling, but if you'd like, you can pull those big toes back towards you, flex those toes, dorsiflex those toes up to the sky, bringing those toes towards your shin. It's a deep stretch in the calves as well. Good. All right, come back up. Now, we're going to go right into our core. So we've got 4 movements for core. Bent knee windshield wipers. 2 ways to do windshield wipers. I am really digging on the bent knee. I feel like I have, number 1, more control. I feel like I can get deeper into the side twist, and I feel it more in my side body, my obliques. I've often talked about our core strength being our transverse abs as well as our rectus abdominis, the muscles to the front, and our internal external obliques muscles on the side. There is a component of back that works for core. So we always talk about if you have a sore back just from activities of daily life, picking up stuff off the floor, putting stuff away, dragging stuff around, your back goes out or back is sore, we always say, oh, your core is weak. Your back is part of your core. So they're not mutually exclusive, they're interlinked. So we're going to talk about that and do some more work with back and core together. So that in mind, I feel like a bent knee windshield wiper is a little bit deeper for me. I find it more comfortable, safer, that's just it. I'll show you what that looks like. Right after that, we're moving into modified sit-ups, Russian twists, and then I call these my fixed firm sit-ups. So first of all, bent knee windshield wipers. We're on our backs, knees are bent 90-degree angles, arms off to the side if you'd like. And then you just have those knees fall to one side, not touching the floor, and then coming back around to the other side. Again, not touching the floor. So going really slow and just kind of finding the pace that works. So those are the windshield wipers. Next, we can come right on up for these modified sit-ups. We've done these a lot of times before. Hands behind your hips. Option would be to have your hands here. I'll show you both ways. Hands here, kind of leaning back, chest up. Think boat, Navasana, boom. But we're going to do a modified. So legs come out, come back in. Now if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, arms not engaged, and working the core. And then from here, heels can go right down onto the ground, or they can be elevated, twist side to side. I'm going to be using a weight, so I'm going to have a weight in my hand. You don't have to. If you don't use a weight, I like to bring my hands together, just go side to side. And what I do is I actually turn my gaze and turn my shoulders. So I'm not just doing this, looking forward, I'm really turning to side to side. And then the last thing, if you guys are familiar with the posture fixed firm, I'll do a little bit of it here because I'm not really that warmed up, and fixed firm requires a lot of limber. Knees together on the floor, this is fixed firm, and then you're going all the way back nice and flat, arms overhead, boom, that's fixed firm. But my fixed firm sit-up, I'm going to go with my knees about hip distance apart, sitting down, and then coming up. Boom. We did these last week, and just coming up. When I come up, a little shift forward with the hips. And I'm going to use a weight. I'm just going to have the weight right here at my chest. So if you're using a weight, maybe a can or a little dumbbell that you might have, that's what we're going to do it. 10. So we're counting to 10, all right? Moving one right into the other. We're doing 4 rounds. As we're doing those bent knee windshield wipers, we're going to count to 20 because we're doing 10 each side. The good news about core is it is a muscle group that has so many different various muscles that assist in different ways. We can work our core every day. So you've heard a lot about, oh, this is my chest and back day, or it's my arms and legs day. People break up body parts and do either complementary or upper body, lower body on different days. Core, you can do a little bit of core every day. Okay, so that's the deal. I'm going to take my dumbbell, bring it off to the side so I've got it handy. And we're going to start with those bent knee windshield wipers, knees at 90 degrees. You can flex those toes if you want, arms out to the side. Remember, we're counting to 20. 2. Nice and slow, be controlled. We're halfway there, guys. Two more. 1 and 2. Perfect. Sitting on up, doing our modified sit-ups. So again, hands will be here behind you, nice and tall. Legs start in and extend out for 1, 2, 3. Perfect. 10. Grabbing my dumbbell. Now, grab your weight, your wine bottle, your can, whatever you've got. Weights right at your chest. And again, heels can be on the ground for twists like this, or if you want to, again, a little bit more challenging, bring those legs up, and we're twisting side to side. And 10, perfect. Now we're doing those fixed firm sit-ups. So starting with our knees, pretty wide hip distance, sitting down between, I'm having the weight come up, we're doing 10 for 1, 2, 2 more, guys. 9 and 10. Awesome. Weight goes off to the side. Get back in position. Back to our second round. Bent knee windshield wipers. We're counting to 20. Remember, Knees are about 90 degrees, and we're over for 1. Going really slow. We're down for 7, 8. Halfway there. Two more, guys. 1, 2, perfect. Sitting on up into those modified sit-ups. Got hands at your hips or not up by your chest. We're out for 1, 2. And 10, perfect. Russian twist, grabbing those weights, and we're going for 1, 2. 9 and 10, awesome. Fix firm sit-ups, and we come up for 1. 8, 9, 10. Woo! Weight off to the side, back to the top, bent knee, windshield wipers. And guys, we'll count for 20. These are our big ones. We're going starting our 3rd round. Slow and steady with control. We're down for 1, 2. 9, 10, halfway there. And 20, perfect. Sitting on up, let's get these modified sit-ups nice and tall, throwing our knees in, we're out for 1, 2. 'Those are the hardest. Woo! Going for our twists, grabbing our weights, boom, starting with 1, 2, 3. Boom, all right. Fix firm sit-ups. Now the 6 firm sit-ups, they're working core, but they're also working legs a little bit, so you guys will have felt that. Starting here, nice up for 1, 2. 8, 9, 10. Awesome, guys. Last round. Back to those bent knee windshield wipers. Again, slow and steady. Really be deliberate. Feel the twist. And we're over for 1. And we're halfway there. Back it up for the last of our modified sit-ups. Tall chest, starting legs in, heels up. 1, 2, 3. 8, 9, 10. Woo! Those are done, eh? Those are tough today. Weights in hand, chest tall, twist. 1, 2, 3. 4 rounds of these, hard guys. All right, last bit of core. Fixed firm sit-ups going up for 1, 2. 9, 10. Perfect, guys, awesome job. Take a pause, grab some water, take a break. Let's talk about what we're doing next, Booty Blaster Day. So as you guys get yourself refreshed, grabbing some water, hydrating up, I'll talk about what Booty Blaster is. For those of us who remember the 1980s, we've done this in jazzercise and group aerobics classes from day one. I'm just trying to think, I think I took my first group aerobic class in 1982. Yeah. And group exercise, especially high impact aerobics, was really a new thing. So health clubs kind of didn't know what to do with them. So I remember we worked out in one of the free racquetball courts at this club in California, where I was living. And so it was, it wasn't as fancy as now with our dedicated studios to impact aerobics, high, low, all kinds of stuff. We've come a long way in, 40 years. Ugh, hard to imagine. In any event, so those of you who have been an aficionado of group exercise for a long time, you're going to know this. We've done this a lot in my Booty Blaster days, but we have 4 movements, and here's what they are. Kick back, donkey kick, side extension, crossover. So here's what they look like. First of all, we're starting in tabletop. Now, there's a lot of shoulder work here because we're stabilizing ourselves in tabletop. You may want to come back and roll those shoulders out every so often. We're going to do 4 movements, 4 on one side, then 4 on the right side, then on the left side. So between groups, we're doing 4 groups, we might take a little bit of a break, roll those shoulders out because you're going to use your shoulders and arms for stability. We talk about hands coming right underneath your shoulders. I bring my hands a little bit closer in, but that's just my preference. I feel like it gives me more stability. So kickbacks are just that. I'm taking my leg, I'm just kicking it straight back behind me. Trying to keep my hips flat. In other words, I'm not tilting them up. I'm keeping them as flat as possible. I feel like I'm leading with my heel. I'm striking back with my heels. I'm kicking back, I'm coming back in, straight out. Next up is a donkey kick. So instead of going straight back, we're gonna go up. Now you can bring that knee way into that elbow and bring it up. You can pulse it up if you'd like. All those are great options. Those are donkey kicks. Then the side extensions. We call these hydrants in the old days. You can extend up the side. If you want to be fancy, you can extend and kick out. And feel free to mix it up. And then the next one is crossovers. So we're starting on one side, coming over and crossing over. It's not a side-to-side movement. It is really up and over. Want really a lot of height on those, okay? Because we really want to activate the big muscle groups, biggest muscle groups in our body, glutes, strongest muscles as well. Our center of gravity is around our pelvic region, our hips, so that provides a lot of stability when we do our balance to have a strong core and glute. So, 4 movements, starting on the right side. We're going to do all the right side, then all the left side, and then we'll take a break, move those shoulders around. 10, we're counting to 10, okay? So get in position, knees about hip distance apart. Starting on the right side, kick back for 1, 2. Halfway. 8, 9, 10. Perfect, knee back in position. Starting in those donkey kicks, let's go. 1, 2. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now extensions off to the side. 1, 2. 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Crossover. Let's take that right foot, step it behind the left, so you're crossing at a diagonal, coming up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Let's go for the left side. Now, starting with neutral position, kickbacks for 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. Beautiful. All right, donkey kicks. So again, starting with a nice, good, firm position, kicking up for 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. Side extensions. So remember, if you're adding that little extra extension, kicking that leg out might take a little bit longer, so just go at your own rate, your own pace. We're up for 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Crossovers. Remember, we're taking that right foot, we're stepping it behind our right side, crossing up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a break, roll it out, get those wrists moving, bring those palms together, do a nice little shuffle side to side. Ooh, loosen those wrists up. We've got 1 round, we've got 3 more to go. Whose idea was this again? All right, get a little sweaty here. It's gonna be like 114 today. So let's get ready to go. Kickbacks, right side. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Donkey kicks, let's go right to it. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Side extensions up for 1, 2, 8, 9, 10. Crossover, starting with that right foot crossed over the left for 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. 10. Back to neutral on the left side. Kickbacks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Kick, donkey kicks up for 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 9, 10. Side extensions. We're up for 1, 2, 8, 9, 10. Crossovers. Left foot crosses behind the right side. Up for 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Second round done, guys. Woo! Roll it out. Halfway there. I'm feeling it. Move those wrists around, shake it out. Take some water, drink it up. All right, back at the top right side. Kickbacks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Moving right into donkey kicks. We're up for 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. Good. Side extensions. Let's do this. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Right foot crosses behind the left side. We're up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. All right, moving to the left side. Find midpoint of stability, kicking it back for 1, 2, 3, 4. And beautiful. Donkey kicks, we're up for 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. 10 down. All right. Side extension is the right one. 2. Halfway. 7, 8, 9, 10. Crossovers. Left foot crosses behind the right side to start with. We're up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 10. Sit back, guys. Shrug it out. Move those arms around, especially those wrists. We're bearing a lot of pressure there, especially shoulders. I don't know about you guys. I'm feeling at my shoulders. I'm looking for that stability. So I'm keeping my back as flat, my hips as flat as possible. So move those wrists around. It's always a good idea, especially with wrists, especially if you do a lot of yoga and doing some chaturangas and your wrists start to tire up for the rest of you. Do a little bit of this in between or before you start, a little warm up. So if you're early at a studio and you're kind of just sitting there, maybe thinking, oh, I should be thinking spiritual thoughts, but I don't really feel like it, don't worry. Bring those palms together, wiggle, waggle. All right. So our last round of this booty blaster, starting on the right side, boom, finding our stability. We're doing a kick back, right foot goes out for 1, 2, 3. 10, beautiful. Donkey kicks up to the swiveling. 1, 2, 3. 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Now, extensions off to the side. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Right foot steps back, crosses behind the left side. We're up for 1, 2, 9, and 10. Beautiful. Right side is done. Let's get that left side going. So kicking it back for 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Moving right into the donkey kicks. We're up for 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. All right, extensions off to the side for 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Crossovers last time on the left side. Left foot steps back behind the right leg and I'm crossing up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. All right, move it around. Grab some water We've got time for a little bit of leg work. So here's what we're gonna do for legs. Squats, classic squats. I'm not gonna do many weights today. I just wanna really work legs and glutes today. We'll talk about form on the squats as well, because there's a nice little hinge movement and where we take the pressure off our quads and off our knees and move it back to our hips. So we're gonna do some squats, we're gonna do some alternate lunges. You can do forward or backwards. Remember, backwards is a little bit more challenging, so make sure you got good firm footing. And then we're gonna do some curtsy squats. Yeah, we've done those before. We've done curtsies a lot, but we're not gonna do curtsies, we're gonna do curtsy squats. So we'll talk about those. So let's get some water in. I'm gonna move my equipment sort of out of the way and talk about squats. Okay, so knees, hip distance apart. That's our yogic world. Boom, boom. It's a very narrow squat range. In knees, hip distance apart, I'm really working a lot of quads. That's where my stability comes from. So I'm getting a little bit of a hinge here, shooting my hips back. I'm not really getting as low as I possibly could. So I go a little wider. I like to have my feet parallel. That way it's easy for me to track my knees over my ankles, keeping things in good alignment. So again, starting with a bit of a hinge, shifting back and coming on up. That's my squat. So we're doing 10 squats. Then we're gonna move into some alternate leg lunges. So we're gonna lunge forward and we're gonna alternate. We're gonna do 5 on each side, so we're just gonna count to 10. So those are our alternate lunges. Curtsy squats. I love these, they're really hard. You've gotta set yourself up, okay? I was practicing this a little bit and you can get a little wibbly wobbly. So, curtsy. I'm gonna start with my right. So my left foot's my support leg. I'm keeping my knee slightly soft, foot is flat forward. My right foot steps back behind me, I'm on the ball of my toe. And then I'm just curtsying and squatting down. Oh, the production staff here, I don't know. They're union, that's the problem. So that's the first side, and then we're gonna have the right foot forward, left steps back, and again, find your stability first, and then curtsy and squat down, and then up. Woo, you're gonna feel it, especially after that booty blaster day. Is the craft table not have any food on it? Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on? This is Gus. Gus is gonna be 7 years old this week. He's very excited about that. I looked it up. It's not exactly 7 years per 1 year for dogs, but it works out that way. The first year is like 15 years for, in human terms. The second year of a dog's life is like 9 years, and then it moves to 5 years thereafter, but it works out to be 7 per year. So, okay, so you gotta move, okay? Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit aside. Again, wide and hip distance apart. Start with a little bit of a hinge forward. Knees are soft. What I'm doing is I'm sending my hips back. So I'm sitting into that chair, then coming up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. All right. Alternate forward. So right foot forward for 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Curtsies. Left foot forward, right stepping back. On the ball of my heel. So I'm in my curtsy. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. Right's forward, left is stepping back. Again, on the ball of my toe. Nice and tall, coming down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, back to squats. Set yourself up, starting our second round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. All right, step to the back of your mat. I like this mat because it's really sticky. If I was on my floor, I would be sliding, so I'm kind of eliminating that. Right foot forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. All right, curtsy squats. Left foot forward, right steps back on the ball of that heel. You got your curtsy going. Down for 1, 2, 3, and 5. Good. Switch sides. Right foot's forward, left steps back. Again, on the ball of that foot. You got your curtsy in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Back to the top. 2 rounds done, guys. Let's go squatting it up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Alternate lunges. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. All right. Curtsies, left foot forward, step that right back. Curtsies in place. Now you're going just straight down, coming back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switching sides. Woohoo! Feeling this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 3 rounds done. We did 4 rounds of core, 4 rounds of booty blaster. Let's do 1 more round of these, all right? 4, 4, and 4. Hip distance apart, starting with those squats. We're down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Squats are done. All right. Well, thank you. Staff. Oh my God, you guys, so hard to find. Stepping forward for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. All right, curtsies, guys, my favorites. I'm loving these. Boom, left forward, right is back. And my curtsy. Boom, hike my skirts up. Down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, switching sides. Right forward. Last one. Let's go back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Woo! I'm feeling it, yeah. On your mats. Go ahead, extend those legs out. That'd be nice. Oh boy. Hello. You like to lick my sweaty legs, don't you, when I'm done? I know. All right. Do a little bit more forward folding, a little stretching of those hamstrings. Let's go ahead and open those legs up. Nice big seated V. Wide-legged seated forward. Thank you, Pipper. Thank you for playing. We love it when you play. Love it when you help. So, again, for a lot of us, what I see a lot of in this posture, people can't quite get this erect spine, so they're really like this. They're trying to do this. Don't. Grab a block, grab a pillow, grab a towel, grab something to elevate your hips. That's going to keep you taller. Your range of motion will come the more you work on your stretching and your flexibility and even some manual stretch therapy, which is nerves and muscles coming together to activate those movements. So in other words, it's we call it our neuromuscular system, nerves, muscles, we know what those are. Nerves and muscles work together. So once they are together and firing together, nerves and muscles. Nerve sends the impulse from our brain to those muscles to move, okay? If they're disconnected, or we gotta get them fired up to connect, you're not gonna have the range of motion. That's what we look for when we do manual stretch therapy. So talk to me about that if you're interested. But starting with our legs nice and wide, coming up, and just hinging forward. Oh, tucking my chin, and just holding the stretch. And again, let gravity work for you. Ooh. It's been a couple days since I've got a nice good stretch like this in. It was after a 7-mile walk. So my legs were kind of wobbly, but they were really warmed up. So again, as I get a little deeper and the muscles are stretching and they're unraveling and loosening it up a little bit, I can kind of move my legs out a little further, kind of readjust them, come a little deeper. I do, when I'm really firing all cylinders, my forehead's touching the tops of my hands, but not right now. We did a lot of legs, so there's a lot of blood that's moved to these big muscles, our leg muscles, our quads, our glutes. So those muscles are nicely plumped up, giving us much room. Beautiful, just holding the stretch. All right, let's slowly come out of it. Woo! Bring those legs together. Bend those knees, keep your knees together, keep your feet flat on the floor, use your arms out like the Frankenstein monster, use your arms to help you control the descent. Go all the way down, pull those knees into your chest, give yourself that little side to side movement, a little bit of massage in that lower back. Extend that left leg out in front of you. I'm gonna go for a deep extension on this twist. So I'm gonna grab my big right toe. Then I'm going to send that right leg all the way up, send my right arm out to the side, have my left leg cross over, and I'm going to look to the right. So I'm getting this nice bit. Now, key to success in this supine twist, keep those shoulder blades, both of them, on your mat. Don't worry about how deep you get into the twist. And again, if you need support, grab a block, grab a pillow, grab a blanket, support that crossed over knee if you need to. Because the shoulders allow for stability. And part of balance and part of movement is finding your stability. As we get older, our stability starts to suffer. So we're always looking in everything we do to ground that stability. Beautiful. So slowly unravel, draw both knees back up into your chest, give yourself a tight squeeze, roll side to side. Send the right leg extending all the way out. Again, I'm grabbing big toe on my left leg, extending that left leg all the way up. My left arm is out to the side. I'm gently having that left leg cross over, looking over my left shoulder. All the while making sure my shoulder blades are on the mat. There's a nice good twist here. Now, take a second to kind of reevaluate. We started some of these twists when we started our workout. So slowly unravel. Thank you, Pet. You're helping me out a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love when you help. Hug those knees to your chest. Roll side to side. Good. And roll along your spine. Become seated on your mat. So when we started our workout today, we started doing some twists. We were a little bit stiff. We did 3 rounds, 3 versions of them. And then we finished off with a twist. So kind of go back in and see how much your body has changed since we started working out about almost 45 minutes ago or so, maybe a little bit longer. That's the mark of a workout, is to always kind of know where you started and then appreciate where you've gone. So if I start out, in an hour workout and I'm feeling really stiff and sore, and I find that, I'm really feeling like I'm opening up no matter what I've done, then that's a good workout. You've had some good movement. All movement is good. So even if you don't feel like, I don't know if I really moved that much, you did, even though you don't feel it, okay? So again, thank you guys for joining me. A lot of core today, a little bit of booty blaster, a little bit of legs. I'm going to throw out, probably the next video will be doubling up on core. So if you really like a lot of core work, really want to get something in, we're going to kind of double up and do 2 groups of core. And these guys have got to go talk to their union rep because I'm going to dock them some pay because they're just kind of goofing around. You're supposed to be managing the lights, goofball. So thank you all for joining me today. Hope you had a good workout. Play it again. Do it a couple times a week. There's a bunch of videos on the site. If you're looking for some yoga, there's some power flows, there's some yoga sculpt, and there's some gentle. So a lot of everything. So I'll get this out to you guys in just a minute, and thank you for joining me.